Hi everyone, and thank you for joining me for Sketchbook Sunday, episode 46. As always, I'm working in my moleskine sketchbook with my Gamblin Artist oils, and I'm painting some ocean waves. I'm not trying to make it super detailed or perfect, it's really just a quick ocean sketch with oil paint, nothing crazy here. If this is the first video you're seeing of mine, welcome to my channel. I have a bunch of way more intense oil painting time lapses of water, and you should watch those because those are probably more interesting. But thanks for finding me. Before painting, I prime my sketchbook with 2 coats of gesso because this sketchbook is not made for oil painting, it's made for drawing, but I also like to use it for painting as well as drawing, and if I don't prime the pages with gesso, the oil paint will just seep through the other side and go on the other pages and it will just be a disaster. So gesso is super important because it gives the paint something to bind to instead of destroying the paper. And yes, because oil paint dries slowly, I leave it open for a few days to dry, which I don't mind because I don't use my sketchbook all that often, but if you sketch every day, maybe go for something that dries quickly like acrylic or watercolor or something. I personally prefer oil paints, so I'm fine with that compromise. To those of you who've been watching my Sketchbook Sunday series for a while now, this is old news, and I'm sorry I keep repeating it 1,000 times, but people continue to ask all the time, regardless of how often I mention it in videos, so I figured I'd keep mentioning it for those viewers who are new and just finding my channel. Now, with that long disclaimer being over, let's move on to the topic I want to talk about today, which is overcoming fear when it comes to painting and starting out with painting. I get a lot of messages and comments asking me how to start because they have no idea what to do or where to start. And my answer to that is just start. Anywhere. You don't have to go into it with this idea that you have to do it correctly, that your first painting has to be good. You don't have to do any of that. Just start. You have brushes, you have paint, you have a surface to paint on. There you go. That's literally all you need. When I first started oil painting, which was about 11 years ago now, I did not know what the heck I was doing. I didn't have solvents, I didn't have mediums, I just had brushes, a canvas, and my paint. And that's it, and I made paintings that way. I literally didn't know how to use the oil paint, but I went for it anyway, and over time, figured it out and experimented with different solvents and mediums. You know, it took years to get to a point where I was comfortable. I had plenty of unsuccessful paintings along the way, and all of that brought me to where I am today. And for those of you that are new here, I have beginner oil painting tutorials if you want to see one way to approach layering, mediums, blending, all of that stuff. So I will leave those in the description for those of you that are new to oils. But just understand that there are so many ways to paint. There are so many things to paint, and you don't have to tackle it all at once. If you're completely new to oil painting or painting in general, regardless of what kind of paint you're using, try just playing with the paint and making something abstract just for fun. That way there's no pressure to do something correctly, to make something look real or good. Just put some music on that you really like and start laying down whatever colors you want or like. With random brush strokes, just blend them however you want, make something abstract and crazy. Just do whatever to get a feel for how the paint glides across the canvas, how it blends, how colors look, how they mix. You don't have to approach it from such a rigid, structured angle, like you're just starting out. It's your first time ever painting. Don't put so much pressure on yourself. All that's really going to do is overcomplicate it, and it doesn't have to be that way. What's the point of making art if you're not having fun? And it's totally okay to be scared to begin. Like, I can understand that. It's really intimidating to stare at a blank canvas and not have any idea of what to put on it, to have this paint in front of you that you've never used before and you have no idea how to use. I get it. But you will never know if you don't try. That's also where having references comes in. If you have a reference image of what you'd like to paint, where it's a picture you took of a flower or the sky, whatever, that helps take a lot of the pressure off. You don't have to conjure something 100% from your mind. And contrary to what a lot of ignorant people who don't truly know anything about art would say, there's really no such thing as real art. Like, that's entirely up to your own interpretation. That is an invented idea that people have entirely different understandings of in their own minds. And they'll try to say it like it's a fact, but it's not. There is no quantifiable research or study that will undeniably conclude what real art is. It's all opinion, and opinions can be completely useless noise. So whatever ideas have been placed into your mind about real art or what it's supposed to be, throw those into an imaginary garbage can and then set it on imaginary fire, because those opinions are absolutely worthless to you and they're not going to help you. All that matters in the moment you're creating is you, your canvas, your brushes, your colors, and you enjoying the process and just letting your mistakes teach you something new. It's completely okay to make paintings you're unhappy with. Those are still learning experiences that teach you something new and help you get better in the long run. And the only way to get better is to actually make art and practice a lot. And you can't get better if you don't start. So just start somewhere and try not to have huge expectations for yourself. Be patient with your growth. It happens at a different pace for everyone, and it's not fair to yourself to compare your early work to the work of artists who've been at it far longer than you. It doesn't even make sense to do that. So don't do that. Over time, with practice, you will figure it out. You will discover your style naturally through making lots of paintings. You'll figure out the techniques you enjoy and the ones that work best for you, but you can't expect to do all of that right away with your first painting. That's ridiculous. So just start. Start making a mess on the canvas and have fun with it. Try to let go of all expectation and negative voices in your mind, because they're not going to help you. Try to just have fun with it and be patient. You will figure it out, but it's going to take some time, and that's completely okay. But I hope that was at least a little bit helpful. I hope you guys aren't too scared to begin painting, because it really doesn't have to be such an intimidating process. It can be so much fun, and it's totally okay to make art that you don't like at the start. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to see more painting time lapses and tutorials. I'm wishing you all a beautiful day, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!